Hey everybody, welcome to Comics Covered, probably one of the best comic book kind of shows on Monday nights in the time slot between 6 and 7 p.m. Pacific time. My opinion, I don't know, Matt, what do you think?
Okay, am I talking? Like I feel everything is severely delayed for me here, but
it does look delayed for you. Your internet again strikes again.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Hold on. I feel my Wi-Fi switching.
No, Wi-Fi switching. I hope everyone had a lovely week. I was out last week, and Matt told me that the show went flawlessly, that there was not a single issue, that the transitions were perfect and smooth.
Everything went perfectly smooth. I was hiding no faces with people's captions up on the screen. That didn't happen. Smooth transitions across the board. Didn't have to wait for me to pull clips for people. Yeah, it was perfect.
Like dead air, just dead air.
Yeah. Me talking with no sound for a good 40 seconds. Yeah.
Oh wow, that sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. So yeah, I do serve a purpose, I guess. That's good. It's good to know.
No, it's definitely good to have you back for sure.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure. I hate missing the show, to be honest. It's probably the most fun thing I do on a Monday. So,
well, I appreciate something.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody who's listening and watching. I think we have a pretty fun show today. We're going to talk about a bunch of comic news, and we're going to talk about something cool that we added to the homepage of the website. Yeah, all that fun stuff. How about you, Matt? Do you want to kick it off with anything in particular?
Yeah, if I could get my computer back up here.
Actually, here, in that case, I'll do while you're doing that. So for those of you who are new to the show, be sure to sign up for CoverPrice.com. It's the ultimate real-time comic book price guide and beyond. Ooh.
Yeah, wait, hold that back up. So just a little backstory on this. So I thought it'd be fun. I had a picture of John. There's a different version. Let's see. Do I have it? Actually, I have it right here. Hold on. Let me unmute so you don't have to stare at me.
Yeah, so Matt, we always try to do different marketing and stuff for CoverPrice.
There we go.
And Matt had this photo of me, and I hate it, but he keeps doing stuff with it.
So I whipped up like a mock-up of this, and our digital guy Brian cleaned it up. But it's just basically we took these like publicity shots just for internal use of when we need it for some capacity. And he had his hand out right there. I was like, I could put a phone in that hand. And then I kept one-upping it. I was like, I could have laser shooting in it. I could have fire. I could have a halo. It was. And then I just fell in love with it, with how silly it was.
Yeah. Now apparently we're just using it for everything. The reason
the guy
I'm bald. They're both bald. So.
Yeah.
That's why. But anyway, so yeah, if you haven't tried out CoverPrice, sign up and get a free trial for 5 days and see if you like it. If you go to ChatGPT and ask, hey, what's the best comic book price guide around? It'll say a bunch of stuff, and then it'll say CoverPrice, the best features and most accurate, and says some other nice complimentary stuff. So that's nice of ChatGPT to say.
No, that's what ChatGPT said.
Yeah, it said we had the most feature-rich price guide and collection management system.
Oh, well, that's nice. That's nice of ChatGPT. I guess me feeding all those prompts in have definitely paid off a little bit.
When the AI overlords take over, we'll be very nice and groveling and good servants. So, but yeah. So to kick things off, you want me to share my screen, Matt?
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
All right. So to kick things off, we added a new feature to the site. Nothing too crazy, but definitely more accessible. So now when you come to CoverPrice, you know that we used to have these buttons here. And if you're not familiar, these are fun links. They take you to like our key lists, our hot comics, weekly movers and shakers. I mean, these, to be honest, I'll just go into one of these. These are my favorite lists because every day this changes, and it's just the biggest sales for, both slabbed and raw comics. You can filter by all-time high, I believe. Yeah, here we go. All-time highs. Only show new all-time highs. So you can actually see of the comic books that we're showing, these are the ones that actually have had the highest sale ever. And it's such a cool list. It's fun to go through and talk about and have memories about
hopefully everyone has we showed it on the Shaker Show, so everyone should be aware of it. Like every Thursday we go through, or the the guys go through this list. It's my favorite part of it, and it's really evolved over time. Like there was a point probably 2 years ago where you can only see 50. That's it. And there was like one page, and now it's, I think there's like, it's endless essentially. Like well, it's about usually 900. But you can sort it through different eras and stuff. It's the one thing I check every day. I go to the movers there, and I go to the shakers. Those are the top things I check. I just like to see the movers because it tells me what books that people are buying the most that week, in terms of just sheer volume. Doesn't necessarily mean in terms of price, but it's just the books that people just love picking up in the aftermarket for maybe they didn't get it, or they just want it in their collection. So it kind of just, it's nice to be connected and see what people are responding to in the market. And it's always interesting to see some old stuff. Like there was a surge of Disney covers that were all the homage covers. A lot of people always say how much they dislike them, or maybe not that they dislike them, but they got sick of them pretty quickly. But here they are, like trending again at least in terms of volume. Probably not price, but it was fun to see.
That is crazy. And so I mean, like, you can't say that that's not the trend when you see like 28 sold this week. But so I mean, hopefully you're coming to the site and checking these out every single day. But to add to your your time spent in comic book land, Matt's team put in some new little list buckets here, and we'll save the secret set for last because that's a fun one. But basically, these are we got the feedback that we have a lot of content, but it's hard to find. Like it's in the side, it's kind of deeply buried. So we wanted to surface a lot of that.
Especially mobile. Some of the stuff gets hidden a bit. You have to know how to hit the lines and go looking for it. So we just kind of want to surface some of the stuff. Keep going. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No. So, this one's the media tracker. And just to remind you who are listening, media tracker is our team goes through and actually finds, of all the content that's been announced, you can see the stuff that's in active development, hell, or canceled. And all you have to do is...
And if you don't know if it's in what category it's in, a good place to start is actually go back a page, John, to the main page again. So you scroll down to the bottom, and it has everything alphabetical. So like go to Ice Cream Man, for example.
So I'll hit for ice cream, because we all like ice cream.
Go to I for ice cream.
Yep. That didn't do anything.
I don't know if it might not have. I don't know. Some of those we got to work on that. But so it doesn't take you directly to it. It kind of takes you close to it. It's like it kind of drops you off in the zone. But essentially here you could kind of see what's been happening with that project, like all the different milestones or announcements it's had since 2018. Of when it was announced, then it got to Quibi, then it was moving around. You got the giant book.
I got the giant book. What's crazy about Ice Cream Man? The first issue is something you can read forward and backwards. It's like a palindrome. Yeah. Like a word that's like I forget. I don't know any, but like you can supposedly, and I did it. It works. You can go from the first page, read it all the way to the last page, and go from the last page, read it all the way to the first page. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I didn't know that. What was interesting about this, like with Ice Cream Man, was I didn't realize that Eli Roth is making a horror film about an ice cream man tormenting like this local town, calling it Ice Cream Man. I'm like, but so these are things that are important to know, because what does that do to the proper comic book project? A lot of people are phobic about putting multiple projects out. It's happened multiple times, of course. The time when we had 2 Volcano movies at the same time. What was it? Deep Impact, and what was the other one? I'm sure it's like in the title of like
Volcano.
It was probably Volcano.
It was Volcano, I think. Yeah.
It was probably Volcano. But like, there's always been like time when multiple film projects come out. But a lot of people are very hyper aware of doing that, because now this is in a market where sharing is caring. So it's kind of that stuff like that really helps give you a sense of where it is. And this is still in active development. So as far as we know, this is still moving forward. Well, it's just good to know if you ever want one place to find everything, you don't have to like track the whole history. That's what we're doing on this page, is just tracking all the content. Every little milestone it hits in terms of an announcement, it's all tracked in here. And if we're missing anything, just let us know at info@coverprice.com, and we'll get that updated.
The cool thing I think is you can, a lot of times people want to find the first appearances of these comics and where they, you know, so you can actually just click on first appearance and it'll take you to that page in CoverPrice and you can learn about it and see all the variants. So so it's a pretty cool, pretty powerful, I think. So
that we kept that one sticky. A lot of, if you go back to the main page, John, there's another, we tried to make things, the convention list. So a lot of people had trouble finding our exclusive list. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the convention page right away, and you can see the overall convention list right there. And if you wanted to see, like recently, the Fan Expo Dallas list, you wanted to see everything that was at that convention, you can kind of go back there. You can look at Free Comic Book Day 2025. You know, you can keep going back to all the conventions, and those links are attributed to those conventions, so they'll always be attached to it. And you could kind of just go back and review and see what was trending, and it's all real-time prices too. So it's a good way if you want to be like, I wonder what happened in San Diego Comic-Con 2023 or 2024, because I think that's when we started doing this. But we'll go back retroactively and start tagging things as well. And all this will be accessible just via the search bar. So if you wanted to search San Diego Comic-Con, and then also wanted to look a little bit for like San Diego Comic-Con 2018, all that stuff will be searchable in the near future. So this is all the stuff we're working on now. We call them descriptor lists, and externally we're trying to find a better name for them. But it's basically anything that describes a word that, you know, that's actually, did you show that first list of the DCU universe?
No, not yet.
So if you go back,
I'm saving that for last.
Oh, you're saving that one for last. Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
So if you go back to the main page.
Well, one thing, so, and I'm sure everyone here knows this already, but just to make sure, every major con, our team is going through and finding all the information, finding what booth they're going to be at, how much the price is going to be. We track what they're worth, where you can find them. So like just for Fan Expo Dallas, we did 618 comics due to Hannah and her data integrity team. Did such a good job of hunting these down. I have to brag. I mean, we probably are the most extensive list of convention variants and convention exclusives around. So yeah, come here as soon as
no one does this. Not even the conventions themselves.
Not even so we reached out to the conventions and we're like, hey, we're doing this list for you. Are you interested? They're like, pay us money.
Yeah, no, that's been the most disappointing part of having conversations with the people that run these conventions, is that we were told directly by one of the largest convention runners in the world that they're like, we don't care about what the people do at the convention or what they're selling or where they're selling it. Our job is just to get people in there, or our job is not to market their product. And it's such a shame and such a disappointment to hear that, because I kind of see as it one and the same. Like, you would want to broadcast, hey, look at all these great opportunities. I know if I was convention and I had the most exclusives ever offered at a comic book convention, I would be promoting that as loud as I could, because that's a fun thing to tout. Now, if you hate variants, maybe that's not a good thing to tout. But, and which we've talked about at length for the past two different weeks. And we didn't even scratch the surface. We didn't even get into all the different facets of variants. I feel like we just scratched the surface. But we had a great conversation last week, John. I'm digressing, I'm derailing a little bit. We had Nomas on, we had Phil on, we had Lando on.
Oh, nice.
We had Darren at Tidal Wave in the comments talking about, he had some really interesting insights, stuff that I had always been wondering, or I've heard people ask, which was specifically, when with all these fame covers and all these books directed towards particular celebrities or brands, why they don't just do like a print. And he said that prints are not protected under the First Amendment, and that they're considered merchandise. So you literally can't make a print. It has to be a comic book in terms of what, of creating these variant covers, which I thought was really, really interesting.
Wait, so if you can't just make a print of a cover because that's copyright written.
That is considered merchandise. A print is considered merchandise.
But you
where
can
a comic is considered a book or some form of written material, I would assume. But
interesting. I mean,
yeah, it was really interesting. I mean, there's also a lot of like, I just got Lando's comment. Matt is a StreamYard wizard. Yeah, yeah. It was like, then I realized my light was off. I was in the dark, and I was like, oh no, I should turn that on. But it was all of a sudden, it was like, yeah,
situation awareness.
If you like comedy, the last week's show is for you. If you enjoy a good comedy.
The other thing I want to point out is we also do the full convention list. So, like for example, in June, we do our best to just capture everything. And if we missed anything, let us know. But then you can link out to the show. So find a show near you each month. Again, a bunch of like public service announcements, right, for everyone who likes comic books. We're just trying to help out. Then, of course, new releases. So that's just the link straight to the new release section of the site.
Yeah, it's also found at the top there, but we brought it down below so you can find it a little easier. And if you're wondering why that screen pops up that says "Sorry, no results," we are working to change that to like please wait.
That was meant to be the funny. I always like building little delighters into the site. If you ever get to one of our 404 pages, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, that was meant to be a delighter. If nothing shows up, you see Dr. Manhattan sitting naked on Mars.
I got a text from someone once. They're like, "There's nothing on this page," and I was like, "Oh, there it is."
Oh, there it is. Yeah. It takes a second, but we're fixing that.
It's pulling a lot of information, so it's compiling so much, all the covers, all the titles, all the sales information. It's a lot of data sometimes that it's got to pull together.
Yeah, and then so here's the final order cutoff list. So again, instead of finding it in the content section, you can just link to it each week. And this list is really awesome because this is the FOC for this week. It gets finalized on Friday.
Is this the new list for next week?
No, it refreshes for next week.
Tomorrow. So it refreshes tomorrow. So this is the final list for today.
Because the retailers are putting in their orders today.
Yeah, so today was the last day of FOC, so it'll roll over starting tomorrow. So this link stays the same every week. It'll just refresh to the new stuff tomorrow.
And I don't think there's any aftermarket. Yeah, there are. So, I mean, it's kind of cool because you can actually go and see if this FOC, which hasn't even come out yet, has any aftermarket trends. And here you go. For example, the Bad Idea is going for $409.
The second people get they confirm their orders and they know they're getting one, they start pre-selling the book. Yeah.
But the fact that it's actually selling without even, you know what I mean? It's like it's kind of crazy. But it's a good way. It's a good way to know what is kind of going to be hot before it even comes out. And
FOC is vital to look at. If you're not paying attention to FOC, you're doing yourself a disservice because it's the whole point is get this stuff at cover price. Ding. We said it. I like saying her name. Ding. Mm-hmm. But it's a great opportunity to just be ahead of things and know what you want ahead of time. And if there's a variant that you want, you can maybe have that conversation with your store and be like, "Are you going to get this?" And they'll be like, "Oh no, we're only getting 23." Like, "Oh, order 2 more. I'll pay for those 2 if I can have the variant at cost." It
helps the retailers. It helps the industry. It's just it's a tool for everybody. And I think, it's just the next level of comic collecting is knowing what's coming out, keeping track of it. We also have the article list, which is pretty simple. It goes just directly to the content section. But then
if you want to see the whole list of everything's bucketed by category in terms of top 10, the shaker list, the new releases, FOC, spotlights, conventions. It's kind of like it's all bucketed so you can find things a little easier. And the new tab will tell you when there's an article in there that you have not read yet. So that'll help give you a little insight into what you may have missed.
And then finally, what's this secret set with the Riddler looking coy on the cover and all this kind of stuff? What's this about, Matt?
So one of the things we were trying to do, the thing that we're working on is the ability to search for any keyword. and we call them descriptors internally. Like I said, we'll have a proper name for it eventually. But when you search, you'll be able to search for any word eventually. Let's say you want to search for shark, or you want to look for a particular, like the Venom set, or San Diego Comic Con, the New York Comic Con, or DCU logo, or whatever it is, whatever the niche market that you collect, that'll all be searchable. But so we already have these built, but we just don't have a way for them to connect to that search bar yet. So we're adding them into this secret set button, and we're just refreshing it every Monday. So that way you'll kind of get a taste of what we're working on, and kind of the various types of lists we'll have. And of course, it's not a finite thing. We'll keep adding to them unless there's a limited thing in those sets. But like, click on it. This week is last week we had Marvel frame covers.
There's Dr. Manhattan,
which was fun. And then this week we have DC Universe logo variants, the popular UPC logo covers. And so this is fun because you can sort by highest price. You can search for keywords of whatever book you want. But the high prices, like there's been some recent, like that Guy Gardner book, that sold for, what was the price on that? It was like
that was $625 is the
$625, and which was crazy
for Raw.
For VF Raw. That Robin had a big sale recently. I mean, it's crazy. Like, so this is kind of the fun what we'll have with these lists, is that you'll be able to see everything that's in that category group, and then to be able to sort them by applying filters to be able to see, to drill down to what you want to see, whether it's highest price, most recent, ones that's in your collection. When some of the lists feature something like shark, like a more generic word, or bubblegum or something like that, you could then search by particular artists and publishers as well. So that'll get, like, let's say we'll have a set for Akira covers. You could type in Akira and you'll be able to see all the different creators that have done one. You're like, hey, has Campbell ever done one? And you can search for that name.
Shit's about to get crazy at CoverPrice, because honestly,
it's fun.
To put it bluntly, like, we're just finishing up our database restructure, which we've been working on for a year, nonstop. We're kind of QAing everything right now, or quality assurance testing everything. And once that's done, we're going to then start building out some crazy lists. And like what Matt was saying, like, to get down into the data and be like, show me every cover with a shark on it. Show me every, milkshake cover. Show me every homage cover. Show me everything Campbell did. I mean, imagine the power of 1 million comic books out there in the world since the beginning of time, and you can filter it and see what they're worth and see them all categorized. Like, it's going to be pretty cool. Not to mention the site's going to be like 10 times faster, and like all these different things are going to happen with this new database structure.
Yeah. So if you like any of these lists, save the URL so you can come back to it as much as you want. So if you want to, like, keep a list, like, hey, I'm a big DC Universe logo, keep the URL. It'll be searchable in a couple months, but this will switch out every week. It doesn't mean that the list won't be updated, because it's still tracking real-time prices. It's still updating. Those prices are constantly being updated. We're constantly finding new DC Universe logo variants and adding them.
It's become a hobby of Jeff and Hannah on our team, I think. Yeah. Especially Jeff. This is his baby.
Yeah, he definitely enjoys those. So, like, if you do like these lists, I would grab the URL and just save it for now until that's all surfaceable. Last week we had the Marvel frame cover, so if anyone needs it, just let us know. We'll reshare it in the comments. Moving forward, I think it'd just be fun to show what's in the list that week. Maybe we'll add that to our repertoire. Hello. Yeah, that just sold yesterday. So that was $500, I think.
I don't think so. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, $500. And we just covered the normal version of this book, the direct edition, which sold for, I think, a high of like 200, which is like, these books were considered nothing books for ages, and now everyone's, Animaniacs was a beloved brand for us, for you and I, for people in our age range. So like now collectors are kind of coming back to these, especially the Hello Nurse one is kind of one of the more iconic covers.
Derek, we'll have a tag for tubs. How's that?
Will there be a princesses categories? Asking for Lando. Lando can ask for himself. So there are. Oh man, I try to be PC, but this is a real word. There are headlight covers. That is the category, so there will be a headlight covers. I'm sorry, ladies, I don't mean to refer to them as headlights. I don't know if we'll have a category for.
You're talking about cars, right? Car covers.
Right. Yeah. I don't. Butt shot. I guess we could do butt shot covers. That could be a whole category. I mean, that's the thing. If there's a category, if you really do collect that and that's your thing, we'll probably create it for it. I mean,
the tricky part also is like it doesn't just magically happen. Like we have to then have our team go through and research and tag things and stuff like that. So there's going to be a little bit
for now. Yeah, for now there's a big manual element to it. We'll probably eventually crowdsource some of this stuff. That way, if you're like, I'm a Santa Claus collector and I know every Santa Claus cover out there, and you want to like match it, we'll probably make that a feature we can do.
I mean, it's just fun. Like I'm going through this and I'm just seeing stuff that I used to have in my collection or I still have someplace, and I'm like, maybe not the DC logo version, but I'm like, oh my god.
Well, and what's interesting is like I pass so many DC Universe logo books, and I'll grab them and I'll bring them home, and they're worth nothing. They're worth like $1 or $2, right? I never find the rare stuff. But then how many times have I passed over the rare stuff thinking that they were like the $1 or $2 books?
So tell me about DC logo covers. Why are they so rare? What was the story behind those?
Well, we also have this in our variant section, all about variants, which you can read about it there. But in short, these were part of multi-packs that were found at like Toys R Us. I think KB's had them too, maybe some other locations. I remember them predominantly being at Toys R Us. So DC would put these multi-packs compiled of subsequent printings usually. And the DC Universe logo were typically subsequent printings of whatever the first edition was. But depending on where that book was in its reprints, sometimes these were third, fourth, fifth printings. Some of them were like not popular books, which had a second book print or a third print. So basically, they're just ultimately very hard to find. It's the short of it. It's a variant cover type thing. Isn't it like a variant? It is. I mean, it's just that DC logo. It's like the newsstand logo. There are collectors that search for just that little box. It's like the barcode variant too for the Simpsons books. All those barcode variants are super rare and hard to find. Now it goes back to like, is that worth a couple $100 more to you? That's up to the individual, the people that are building these sets that want these books. To them they would say yes. To the rest of us, maybe some, maybe not all. I don't know. It's everyone has their thing and they're allowed to have their thing.
That makes it. I mean, honestly, like when you have a comic that you want, then finding one that's like super rare and has a story behind it. I think there's an enticing aspect to that. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to like I'm a big fan of the DC combo packs, and that was 2015, I think. 2016 was when they ended. Those would feature a different color on top, so the whole book would be a slightly different tint. The logo would be a different color, and then it would have it'd be a different price, and it had, I think, a different look. Sometimes it had a different logo or something like that. But they were distinctly different, and they would be shrink wrapped with the digital code in them. Those are extremely rare, and at the end of their run, they were probably rarer than most incentive variants.
Here's a headlight cover for you.
That doesn't work because it's all. I don't know. Maybe it could.
I don't know.
Not quite the same.
Just saying. I like the pun. Trust me, Pinky. This is what it takes to be big in comics.
I mean, it's true. It's even more true today, right?
Yeah, that is quite true. I don't know. This is so fun. I mean, it's just cool to kind of go down the list and see all this stuff. that's one of the best things I think is like all the comics that I have are in my long box, and I'm not going to sit down and go through them and take it down and kind of play with it. But like to see all of this in one place and just kind of reminisce on all these is kind of fun.
Sure.
Anyway, okay, so
so if you go back, we'll some of the we usually go over the top 10. Just talk about some of the quick trends before they do the full show tomorrow. The world to come is definitely trending, and if you don't know why, there's a big spoiler reveal at the end of this that kind of changed, that got everyone worked up online. It was a big twist. I know Lefteros was telling me about it, and he enjoyed the read a lot for sure. I need to get my hand on a copy to read. All I saw was the last page reveal, so I had no pre-context of what was going on. But I don't want to spoil it for people if you haven't read it. I mean, it was a bit, I guess it was
like earth-shattering. I don't know what it is either.
No, I wouldn't call it earth-shattering. It's I don't know what to. So I don't want to oversell it because it's not earth-shattering, but it was definitely thought-provoking.
Oh,
maybe. Maybe not thought-provoking is the right word. I don't know. Controversial, you could also say.
Would you say controversial or controversial? Whatever you said.
Whatever word you said the first time. Controversial.
Controversial.
There you go.
This is okay. Let's see if I can get any hints. A lot of cool storm covers.
It takes place in the future. Black Panther's a little older, and he's fighting with another person which is I think is revealed during the book to be his son, but the reveal of who his son is at the end was the big twist.
The big fun thing. So if you guys haven't read it, read it. And I love what they're doing with the second print. That is cool. Like they taking it and then just changing and adding something to it. That's fun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The rest of the top 10, if you go back a little bit, there's a lot of familiar stuff. I forget why that Daredevil book is trending. I can't remember. Someone, I think I'm right now.
First appearance of
Layden. I can't remember why he was trending exactly. Someone else would probably know.
I love the costume design on some of these guys. It's kind of outrageous. My helmet will match my chest, which will match my arms. And now they'll fear me.
Let's see. I can tell you why it was trending. I think we have it in our list here. There's an actor was cast for the Vision series as in the role of Paladin. That's it. So that was his first appearance. So content news. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, JD. Ditto, Jinx. Find me a code. Because of Vision Quest, he was announced as that character was casted. That G.I. Joe book is trending because they've been doing these negative these JTC style negative covers for the past couple months, but for some reason the one with Scarlet just took off.
When you get like the proper color and everything matches perfectly, it just feels good.
The Giant Size X-Men is really interesting. If you click on that's a really interesting book. I'm giving all the spoilers ready for the top 10, but that was so not to be confused. There's a big time collectible version of this book. It's not the same. It's a different foil treatment. This reprint. You can get this only at GameStop, and I think it was like very limited. A lot of GameStops didn't get them. And I can't remember exactly what Hannah was telling me exactly how you had to get this book. And I'm blanking on what it was. So
I'm not familiar with it.
But now you got to go to GameStop and see if they have a copy of it. I'm gonna try and see if I can find.
And don't be confused by all the other facsimile versions of Giant Size X-Men.
I mean, yeah, there are a ton. I don't know why my Slack is so slow. Jeez.
Zabot, I don't know if it's Paladin. I'd say it Paladin, but how do you
Paladin
say
or Paladin?
I think Paladin, like the holy knight kind of like thing.
See, in my head, I've always said Paladin too. So, like, has my head been wrong this whole time?
You also say homage, and I say it's homage.
Well, so that's I do for fun.
Okay.
that is on purpose. I do admit to that one. That is not
Matt does that just to mess with me now.
Yeah. I do that for fun because I like homage. It sounds fancier. So she said that that foil showed up to GameStop's, but there's a lot of confusion around the launch of that book. It was supposed to be free when you purchased 1 or 2 Marvel Legend action figures, but not all GameStops got them. And apparently there were shipping tiers, so some stuff got shipped faster than others. People said that when they asked their GameStop, the employees said they had a box of them, but had no idea what they were for or what you had to do to get them. So some were just scanning them and selling them. So it's kind of interesting. So if you don't see it on the shelf, ask your GameStop about it. And I would do it sooner rather than later because this is not widely known.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah, so you have the freedom to stop watching the show and call your GameStop right now.
I mean, it's kind of annoying, but I kind of do like it when they do those gimmicky things where it's like, okay, you have to go to a GameStop to get this, blah blah blah.
It's cool. Like the Superman Dogbone book that was popular for weeks and weeks and weeks. What I appreciate about that is that everyone has the equal level to like try and get these books, and there's a lot of them, so everyone has a shot at them. But you do have to put some effort in to go get it. You have to order it, right? You have to go to the site, order it. Got to wait a little bit. Hopefully they come in nice order. I kind of like some grand equalizer in that capacity. Now the Sydney Sweeney Barso thing was the conversation. The other end of that conversation, where everyone and their mother was trying to get one of those bars of soap, and they're selling for like $500.
Yeah, tell people who don't know what that is, because you just told me today.
Everyone knows it. It's been widely covered now, but there's basically bars of soap made with Sydney Sweeney's bath water. That was from Dr. Squatch, was the website, and it was limited. It was $6 a bar, 1 per person, and I think there were 5,000 of them. I could be wrong. It could be 2, but I think there was 5. They sold out in 30 seconds.
Now, did they put her in a giant thing of, like, from a marketing standpoint, from a product?
They did.
Like a giant bathtub or just a little bathtub? Because
I'm sure just a normal sized bathtub, and then they just probably put a drop in it. It's probably like mixing like a drop of like the blood into the ink or something like that.
That's crazy. There was a comic book? Was it a Kiss comic or something where they actually had a blood from the
it was the Marvel Spotlight Kiss book that was the ink was supposed to be
Gene Simmons
blood. Yeah, I think all 4 of them, and then Ani did it recently with one of their books at C2E2. Was it C2E2? I think so.
See, like the gimmicky stuff. Some of that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right. What about
literally all of our blood goes into the site. So
yeah, Matt and I just have an IV that goes straight into our PCs here or whatever. Yeah, Gene Simmons blood.
Exactly. Everything else is pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any major surprises. McFarlane. What was interesting about those McFarlane books, the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man Todd books there. Todd, I should write this stuff down, but he was on record somewhere saying that he is adamant that 299 is the first appearance of Venom, and does not understand why people choose 300 as the first appearance. So he went on record saying like 299 is the first appearance of Venom. It's not a cameo. He's there at the end, says his name, full display. Like he was like, this is the first appearance. We call it the second cameo.
We got to update this.
I mean, if Todd says it's the first appearance, it will piss people off because everyone strongly feels that.
How about this? Why don't we say first appearance of Venom per Todd McFarlane quote.
I mean, we could, you know, it's interesting, but the problem is when you do that, it opens up a debate across everything else. Then you got to go to Hulk 181, right? You got to go to like, then 180 is clearly then the first appearance, and this is what everyone's been saying for years, anyways. But you know, first full versus first like people. But the thing is, people just don't even want first full or first cameo. They just want first appearance. Call it a day. Now, there's some that are like extremely complicated. Like Punchline was extremely complicated. Damien was super complicated because like he's in the shadows, and you see then a partial face reveal. Then it's like Punchline was the same thing. It's like she talks, has the one line, doesn't say her name, face is hidden. It is a very complex thing.
I'm curious if those of you guys listening, like if you, because we are going to be dabbling in our key list and improving all that very soon. Do you guys prefer like Collector 34 is saying here, like first full cover or first full appearance? First,
and JD says first cover. I mean, first cover and first appearances. Yeah, that's an easy one. And sometimes you just have to draw that line in the sand. Like Vanessa Fisk is complicated. Darkseid's complicated. Mr. Negative is complicated. There's a lot of characters out there that have very muddy first appearances. So like, it used to be the rules back in our day was they had to have be fully seen, not hidden in the shadows. Have their name said or say their name.
Hold up a name tag. Hold up their ID, their license.
Right. Hold up but no, they had to have some dialogue. Have full visibility, meaning not hidden in the shadows, and then have their name said. Or at least if you had all three of that, it was a clear first appearance. If you had two, then it was a little murky. But like that's 180. 180 has Wolverine at the end, shouting his name, full dialogue, full clear appearance. And that's the same with Venom. Venom's at the end, full has dialogue, says his name.
I mean,
so it does.
A lot of people follow the hype and they don't actually read the comic. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but also it's kind of like the other debate that kind of grew out of it is one page. Would you call that a first appearance? Like it does it count as a first appearance? And then you look at 181, Hulk 180 versus 181. The cover is, that's why it went to that, because he's clearly on the cover. It's so much of a better cover.
Yes, iconic. It's totally iconic.
But the same thing here. 300 is a better cover than 299.
Yeah. So are we going to update this?
I mean, you can have Origin in there, and and you can add full appearance on there if you want to. But I mean, if Todd said it that it was first full appearance,
so buy up 299, because I mean, God, if this one went up to 25,000 in a 99.
Yeah, Jay-Z said, "Read the comic." That's crazy talk. So we had something like there was some book we covered last week.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at JD's comment. Yeah, a little.
Yeah,
we were talking to CLZ, our partners in crime here, and some of the stuff, and they did the major key, minor key, and holy, that kind of stuff. And it sounds like they constantly have to be like, "Hey, this is subjective," and everyone's like getting into like death matches over it with them. It's pretty good.
It does get very sometimes you have like we did that definitive line on the sand for first Gambit. It's like, sorry, the annual is first Gambit, hardcore. Even though but then there's so many of those books you can come out where like, well, it wasn't intended to come out first. I'm like, but it did. The end of the day, it came out first. It's kind of like Jenny Frison's first covers too.
Yeah, when
so many other ones.
Because we interviewed her and she says the first.
Speaking of, you could go to the main page and show that real quick.
Yeah, here, let me show you. Oh yeah, so we did an interview with Jenny. We had one with Ickpod as well that's coming out. But if you guys are interested, check out the interview. You can watch it or read about it here.
Yeah, this will be on YouTube, the full video version of it too.
Oh, did we not put the video up here yet? The link?
I don't think the video's up live yet. I think Brian's still editing it, so we have the article version of it up right now.
Gotcha. So yeah, but read the article, and she does call out that it was funny. She's like, which one? Hack Slash came out second, and I mean, I have it
Hack
right.
Slash came out first. So technically, Hack Slash was supposed to be first, but
So she says, my answer is Hack Slash because it was the first job I got, and I finished the cover, and I did okay. Then they hired me to do Voltron. Voltron came out first. So in my opinion, Hack Slash is my first professional cover work. And then we went to the store, and my sister and I were like, whenever they were both in the store, whatever Wednesday that was, we went and we picked them up. So anyway, I like the Voltron one better, to be honest, but obviously.
I mean, but there you go. So she says she considers Hack Slash her first, but technically it wasn't released first. So technically it's not her first. So then again, what do? Do you listen to the creator who says this is my first, or do you go with the release order? It gets very complicated.
Well, you know, it's interesting though. I think a lot of the writers and editors would be a better source. The artists, although are very involved, if they're not in like a cover, if they're only cover artists, sometimes they just get hired for that, and they don't have a stake in the game or whatever. Like
and a lot of times an artist can be working on 4 or 5 covers, and they don't go in the order of when they did them. If they produce 5 covers, and it's like into them it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 5 could come out before the other ones, and then 3, then 4. So it's you have to go by ultimately the release date. So Voltron will have that first. Yeah. So the line in the sand is clear. Voltron gets the credit. But
fun stuff, fun conversations. Yeah. By the way, if you guys are interested in winning something, we are going to do of course, we've been giving away merch, and we love to do that. So go ahead and put in #merch if you want to win a CoverPrice shirt. We're going to start switching up into some comic books and stuff again, back and forth. But we like doing the merch stuff because it's fun.
Yeah, you see right here, all these. I got to go through all these boxes. Right.
Yeah, it's all Matt.
Yeah, all these boxes have books in them that I just got to sit down and open up. And just a little insight to how these are all comps. So how the comps come in is that, particularly from Image, they now shrink wrap every single comic. Literally every single one.
Oh my God.
This is first world problems, and you gotta open them up, and the shrink wrap almost damages almost every single one. So that's the other reason why we don't have many books lately to give. And also a lot of people are ending their comp programs. So a lot of people have been cutting back on the comp programs for multiple reasons. People complaining around, print run issues, adding to the print run, complaining about books leaking out before they're ready to be sold. Other people getting these comps and then selling them immediately, even though they were intended for a convention months later. Yeah. So a lot of people are cutting back on this, which is good news. And I actually had an interesting conversation with Lefteros today about Marvel incentives, because Diamond is officially done. Today you can't purchase anything from them. They're closed up. There's rumors that now a lot of these Marvel incentives, which were bleeding out from Diamond apparently and going, being sold directly, I don't know in what capacity, even sold directly by Diamond or sold to other people that were internal or people that were friends. I don't know. But apparently there will be some rarity now back on Marvel incentives. So it's just something to kind of keep an eye on to see if that's the case. I don't know if it will, but just keep a lookout, because apparently things are changing as it switches over, as there's a changing of the guards. So
It's crazy. There's always opportunity and
Yeah.
stuff that slips through the cracks, and
Yeah.
you know, a lot of interesting stuff happening. I mean, it's crazy that we're living through that time where Diamond is no more. Diamond, the monopoly of
I
distribution.
know, for the longest time. You know,
And
I really like that
the
gray
two
and red
most
at the
difficult
bottom
people
there.
to
I
work
just
with.
said that.
Now that they're gone, I can say it. You know, like,
Look at that gray and red at the bottom left there.
yeah, that's a cool one.
I like that one a lot.
So yeah,
can you
here's
order
just
me one of those?
a highlight. I kind of like the bumblebee, yellow and black, but. And then this is the surprise. This one, the berry one, actually looks really good in real life. Didn't expect that. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, we've changed the site so you guys can see all.
Yeah. So Collector 34 said that. So that warehouse in New York. I mean, yeah. I mean, John, this is the thing that people have been saying this for decades now. That there's boxes of all these hard to find variants that have just been stored away at this, Diamond's warehouse, tucked away, either safe for a rainy day, or they forgot about it, or they're somewhere in there, or someone's going to find one and it's going to be, all these variants are going to pop up and kill the value of some of these books. We'll find out. I mean, now it's going to, the next year or two, that information should come to light if that's true.
Yeah, but is that going to go to whoever bought it? I mean, there's
I don't
still.
know. I mean,
right,
if you have the warehouse rights, I don't know, because Diamond theoretically could, I don't know if they can sit there and sell through all that stuff. I don't think they can. I don't know. It's beyond my knowledge of that business.
The craziest story I ever heard, and I don't know if it's true, it might just be rumor, was that the Library of Congress, I think, actually carries a single edition of everything in publication for the archives. And that said, they have every single comic book. And for years, someone was going, like one of their workers was going through and taking like Amazing Fantasy 15, First Action Comics, and just putting in a facsimile or putting in a different one in there, knowing that no one there cared or knew. And those were just disappearing out of the archives. And they're
going to talk about the president's secret book.
What's the secret book of the president? Is that
watched National Treasure?
National Treasure? Is that just the Declaration, right, with the map on it?
No. They go is it in the second film where they have to go to the second National Treasure 2, where they have to go get the president's secret book?
Those were good movies. I gotta say, the Mummy were fun.
Yeah, the Mummy's fun too. I love National Treasures. I wish they could have had 1 million of them. I can't tell you how much I love them.
But that's why Uncharted was so successful, right? Is that like, I'm smart because I know history, but I'm out there because I'm like Indiana Jones. And
it was a fantasy fiction, right? So you would take real world events that happen in history and mysterious things that happened around them. There's actual stories that have been passed down, and then flush it out to a bigger story. That's what Uncharted did very well in all their games. First one was with around Nathan Drake and Sir Francis Drake, and then the second one was around Shambhala, and then the third was Velocity of Gold, and just building in all this like Magellan searching for Shambhala. I love them, and that's the same thing with Da Vinci Code, right? Like weaving together history with fiction. And
didn't like what they did with Tom Holland was Nick Drake, right? They tried to.
The Uncharted film was terrible. The Uncharted film was a waste. Yeah. They literally took Uncharted 4 and merged it with like Uncharted 2, and then it sprinkled other elements in. It was a bad take. Yeah, it wasn't good.
I will not be ashamed to say that I oops, where'd my screen go? I fashioned my fashion after the character for Uncharted, the Henley and all that stuff. He just looks so cool. I'll show you.
Brad Johnson says he won a shirt on one of our streams from May that he never got. So we might have to look into that.
Who said that?
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson. I will check. I apologize if you didn't get that.
So we'll have to look for Brad.
Brad, if you can send me an email, john@coverprice.com, and just remind me of that. I'm sorry. I usually send those all out. I don't, maybe it was a problem with shipping, but yeah, they should all be shipped. But let me show you. Everyone knows what Nathan Drake looks like with this outfit. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. The Henley, the cool pants, the boots. Yeah, I never pulled it off.
Uncharted 2 was probably one of my favorite video game experiences. I loved playing that game.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that like all the time.
Oh, it was so much fun.
All right, you ready for some merch? If you haven't signed in for it or entered, type #merch. We'll give you a few more seconds, and then we'll give away one of these cool shirts, and we'll actually ship it to you. Apparently.
What's the buzz on Fantastic Four? It looks like it might be good. Wrong one. The buzz on Fantastic Four. Who knows? I mean, roughly the buzz is good. I know people have been talking about the ship that was at the end of Thunderbolts, and how there's all these theories around how a lot of people point out that it's not the actual ship that the Fantastic Four are in the Fantastic Four film. That there's all these theories around that it's tied to Doom or various other characters. I don't know. I'm looking forward to Superman a lot. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. But to be honest, there's so much writing on both these films. So much writing on these films for the whole history of content, right? Like
we're actually going to do our talk at San Diego this year on this.
Yeah.
But give them some preview, Matt.
No, if Superman doesn't do well, if people don't take to it, it derails everything that DC is going to do. Because if you don't like the tone of Superman, it's like that's James Gunn. Like it's going to be in everything that he touches. And so if you don't like it in that film, something that is very tonally appropriate, then it's going to be a tough road ahead for DC. And Warner's already in trouble right now. They're losing a lot of money in their streamers, a lot of money, like specifically around Discovery. They cut back the bonus of the CEO. Like there's a lot of issues going on with Warner Brothers right now. So this matters a lot, not just in terms for the James Gunn line, but for Warner Brothers proper, for DC Comics proper. Now they'll always exist in some capacity. They'll just be sold to something else. But that's kind of like Sony. The only way is up.
Oh no! It could keep going down. Don't worry.
No, but then on the other hand, you have like Fantastic Four. Now everyone's clearly saying that Secret Wars will be a giant reboot, and that everything will then change after that, and we'll go into a clear slate of a new lineup of Marvel films. So we do still have a little bit of a layup to Secret Wars, and then that refresh will be a big change. But Fantastic Four is kind of their first step to Secret Wars. So if Fantastic Four doesn't click, then again, they're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle to get into Secret Wars.
I hope so. I can't wait for some good comic movies again. Like they just kind of lost some of their luster. Superman, I think, looks amazing. I'm actually really excited just because, like that last trailer where he's being like interviewed by Lois like casually and it turns serious. Like the fact that they're not just doing I'm a Superman, I'm all powerful, I'm almost like a god, and I'm fighting evil. But to make it more of like a political kind of like, do you have the right to go into different countries? Do you have the right to stop and save people? Like I didn't see that coming, and I thought that was like I love the multi-layer part of that. So hopefully that's what it's just one part of the trailer, and it's just a big smash fest. Who knows?
I mean, it's I don't know. I think it'll be fun. I have high hopes for it.
Yeah. All right.
Go for it. Run it.
Let's do this. Running it. The winner is of the amazing CoverPrice shirts. Hey, JS Brooklyn.
Hey, there you go.
Did you already? I think you might have already won a shirt in the past.
I think JS's Brooklyn has like a whole like wardrobe of cover
I know
price
he's
shirts.
just a swag man over here. You know the drill. Congrats. If you do have a shirt and you want a hat, let me know and I can get you a hat.
Or if you have a shirt and a hat and you need a sweater.
Yeah, we'll get you a sweater or something. But congrats to you. And yeah, honestly, guys, thank you so much for watching the show and stuff. We're trying to keep it real and kind of fresh and show what we do at CoverPrice, but also keep it, talking about comics and do some interviews and everything like that. But this is always in between me and Matt's like day job of running CoverPrice and being in meetings all day.
In our homes, yeah.
In our homes, in our lives.
Running kids around everywhere.
But you guys definitely make it fun to do this. So we really appreciate all of you guys.
What I enjoyed was this was our graphic for today's show, Absolute Superman. I told Brian, who did our graphics, I'm like, I have not read Absolute Superman. I have nothing. I don't know what to say to that. And they're like, yeah, just use that as the graphic. I'm like, but it's got to be tied to the show. So this is us right now talking about Absolute Superman with no extra context. We're just
tied to the show. And don't forget, if you haven't tried CoverPrice, it's a fun little app that lets you do fun things. And
yes, if you're bald, you can use your mind to operate it.
A lot of people with hair don't realize that bald people all have telepathy. And
yeah, it's true. This is true.
I mean, it's like, Matt.
Yeah, totally. But that was dirty. But yeah.
Yeah, I just went dirty when I go telepathy.
It's all penis. It's just penis.
It's just, that's all. That's images.
No, stop.
You're welcome. All right. Well, anything to say before we go, Matt?
Mr. Waite said, "Are we going to be at Heroes?" No. The next convention will be San Diego, and then after that will be at New York Comic Con. I think that's about it for us for the year. But next year, 2026, we will be a lot of places. But for this year, we have so much that we're working on and trying to get done. Trying to get, we made promises to folks when we had to increase our prices that we'll get an app out by the end of the year and all these fun extra features, and that's what we're working towards.
Nothing like motivation through making promises. You're like, okay, now you have to do this. So we are.
Yeah. Oh, Collector 34 wants to give a Kilroy. Yeah, I don't know how to do that right now. I don't have a. You have to be like. There you go. There's a Kilroy. Oh, actually, these are books that Image sent me to give away. That's where these books went.
See, look at that. Matt found them.
Let's see what oh man, they didn't put it in a bag and board, man. So this is what Image sent to us. Actually, these are nice copies.
All right, next week, is this what we're giving away?
1 week. We gotta do a proper, but they sent these homage covers for
Batman
for Radiant Black. No, these are for Rogue Sun specifically, but these homage covers are selling for like $50-$60. So they sent us a couple copies to give away proper. So we'll have to do that pretty soon.
Yeah. All right, stay tuned and we'll do that. On that note, everyone, thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys watching. Be back next week, and we'll talk about more cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, folks. Thanks, Wade. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, appreciate it. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Wade.